and welcome. I'm Alison from Bag Lady Bird Learn to Sew, and today I'm going to be showing you a foolproof way to apply interfacing. So often if you get bubbles or creases in your interfacing, or if you don't get a firm stick, using this method will stop all those things from happening. I will give a slight disclaimer and say that Vlieseline interfacing is different. Vlieseline have their own instructions on how to apply interfacing, and it differs for each different type of interfacing. But I have found that this method works for all other types of interfacing that I have used. So take your time, it is slow and it is not much fun, but you get a good firm stick and your interfacing will not come off. You won't get bubbles or any unpleasant bits happening in your interfacing. So let's get to the ironing board. The iron settings are important first of all. So you can see here I have got this on 2 dots, the wool setting, so medium heat, and I have completely switched the steam off. We don't want any steam when we apply it interfacing. So I have got some muslin here. This is my pressing cloth. I use this to protect the ironing board. So I've got a nice, actually brand new ironing board cover on. So regardless of the age of your ironing board cover, you still want to use something like a muslin, some sort of natural fibre fabric, some cotton, linen or silk in a fine weave. You want it to be natural because you want it to be able to take the heat, and so you're going to use that to protect your ironing board cover. Then we're now going to place your piece to be interfaced. So this is the colour of some Christmas pyjamas I am making for a member of my family, and this is just being cut out. So we've got right side of the fabric to the ironing board, wrong side facing up. Now the next important thing to note is getting the right side of your interfacing to the wrong side of this. So the gluey side is the side that needs to go down onto your wrong side of your fabric, and if you've accurately cut your pieces out, they should match. Just take care when pieces are cut on the fold. If you don't get the piece that's this edge, which is to go buttered up to your folded edge, if you don't get that accurate, when you come to apply your interfacing, it can throw everything out. So sometimes the gluey side is bobbly, like this one, you can feel it. Other times it's got a shiny finish to it that isn't on the other side. So use that to identify your glue side of your interfacing. So now I'm just going to bring another layer of the muslin cloth over the top of the piece. So the fabric is wrong side facing up, the interfacing is glue side facing down, and you have got it sandwiched between 2 layers of muslin, some 2 layers of pressing cloth. So my iron, I'm just going to iron the ironing board first of all, because this iron does go on to standby, and if I don't have the right amount of heat in it to start with, it won't be right. So then we're going to start at the centre of the piece. So I've got the iron in position and I'm just going to press and hold. So I put a little bit of pressure on here. I'm not just leaving it while I walk away and do something else. You could FaceTime someone, you could have a phone call, you could think about your to-do list for the day, but it is a little boring. You're waiting for about a minute each time you press and hold. You don't want to move your iron about. You are just holding it still. As soon as you start moving the iron about, once the glue has melted, you run the risk of it slipping on the fabric and ending up moving and shifting, or creating folds in your interfacing or in your fabric. So we're just pressing and holding. On this machine I have a little safety button which after about a minute it starts flashing, and I use that as my indicator rather than time in a minute. But if your iron doesn't have that, make sure you've got a clock nearby so you can keep an eye on the time, and you're just pressing and holding. Once you've done your full minute, you want to then lift the iron and move it to the next piece. So you're holding each section for a minute at a time. You start in the centre and work your way out gradually to each side, so just one iron at a time, one iron area at a time. You can usually see where you've been previously to give yourself a bit of an idea where you actually are. And we're pressing and holding. So the muslin cloth allows the heat to penetrate slowly, so it doesn't risk melting your interfacing. Now, interfacing is usually made of a synthetic fabric, and with a high heat iron, there we go, I'm flashing here, I don't know if you could see it, so I'll move it in this direction. So yes, the interfacing is made of a synthetic fabric and the heat of the iron can easily melt it. So that's another reason why we have a layer of muslin there, to protect the interfacing from melting, to protect the iron from getting glue or sticky bits on it. And we just slowly take our time and apply this interfacing. It's not much fun, it takes time, but if you use this method with all interfacings other than Vlieseline, you will get a really great firm stick. With Vlieseline, follow the instructions that are on the side of the interfacing. They're printed on the edge of the interfacing and they will show you the directions for that particular type of interfacing. But for all other types of interfacing, use this method and you'll find you'll get a really good firm stick. Let me do some more. So you don't want any steam. The steam would not help the glue to melt. So we're just taking our time and waiting for the glue to melt and to get a good stick. That should be our interfacing stuck. So another additional top tip is to leave your interfacing in place, your piece in place, until it has completely cooled, allowing the glue to dry and adhere to the fabric will help you get that firm stick. So to summarise, you're using muslin between the fabric and the ironing board, between the interfacing and the iron, so everything is sandwiched between two layers of muslin or other pressing cloth. You are using a cool iron with 2 dots and no steam. You will start in the middle and press and hold for about a minute and then work your way out, pressing each section for a minute at a time until you have pressed your iron to each section. Don't slide your iron, you will slide the interfacing on the glue, and then allow the fabric to completely cool before you lift it off. So once you've allowed this to completely cool, you then just want to peel back the top layer of your muslin, which you may find has stuck in places to your interfacing. That's where the glue has really penetrated. And then you want to peel your fabric back, and you might find where your interfacing has not been cut accurately, that around the edges it might stick. Just take care with that. You don't want to rip anything. And there we have a really firm stuck piece of interfacing. No bubbles, no creases, no flapping corners. It is all just beautifully stuck. So take your time, follow those steps with your interfacing, and I promise you, you will get a wonderful, even, well stuck interfacing every time, except with Vlieseline. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and you can check out my Love and Stitches Club, which is my online dressmaking club where we cover a different sew along project every month. The details are in the description box below.